vlog is that one. There we go. A little cozy. Yeah, a little cozy. Alistair folks. Oh, and they. Yeah, tick on his eye. Alright, welcome to the Church of FreeWater, where we are studying the tablets of light. So something I've been meditating on is, let's say, resistance of information, right? And one of the focuses or realizations we're coming across is that as we get further into the tablets and into our meditation, it's going to be more and more triggering, right? And that's like a fact. So being able to put yourself in a position where you can be triggered and process things, right? Now, let's say if you're already stressed out from work or whatever it is in life, and you're attempting to go through with this meditation, right? And now you're feeling all these emotions on top of your stress that you feel in life. So now it's uncomfortable, right? So if this isn't really the thing to listen to when you're driving on the way to work, which I understand maybe the tarot was, and me being, funny and entertaining helps, kind of like, all right, I'm laughing and I just listened to, some astrology, what's going on in the week, things of that nature, right? This is more for, all right, I'm ready to stop going to work type thing. If it's not something I want to do, right? If work was something you want to do, then this for sure is going to get you amped up. If I'm on the way to the studio, make music, or let's say I'm on the way to the land, I'm on my way to go work out like I just did, or I'm walking the dogs, um, playing the bass, all these things that I enjoy doing. This is gonna make me all the energy that I feel is gonna propel me to do that further, right? When we feel the energy and we're being propelled in another direction, then when we receive this information, we are going to be frustrated. We're going to be upset that this even resonates because it defeats the purpose of you going to work or do whatever it is that you feel that you have to do. For instance, one of the big things I'm realizing is me even arguing about, let's say, this information, or just the things that I'm doing in my meditation. Now, before, let's say I was playing victim, oh, woe is me, and now I have other people around me who play victim as well, and then I can focus on them playing victim and distract myself from what I'm doing or whatever. It's like this whole cycle of people who like play victim and then they just like are become codependent, right? When you wake up from that cycle and go, you know what, I should only really be dependent on myself and I'm taking control of the situation and what I like and what I don't like. What I do like, I'm going to put more towards, right? What I don't like, I'm just not going to put any energy towards it. And as I communicate, and let's say I'm sharing something on my story, I'm sharing this, and people want to say whatever it is that they want to say. If someone says, "Oh wow, I really agree with you," right, or "I love this," a lot of times you just go, "Oh, thank you, whatever, like it, keep it pushing," right? And then when someone disagrees with you and says, "Oh, you're stupid, and I don't like this, I don't like how you communicate this, I don't like how you do this, I don't like how you do this, you're blah 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 blah." A lot of times we focus on that energy and we put more energy or, more efforts towards that. Oh, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna argue with this person. I'm gonna defend myself. I'm not gonna be bullied. All that. And it's like, realistically, who cares what anyone's opinion is? You can feel however you feel about it, right? So therefore, I just don't have to put any energy towards it. I can put energy towards the things that feel good. And that's the same thing with this. It's realizing that once you ascend to a certain level, you can't it's not really, I'm not going to say can't because I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's just not recommended to be going in and out of the house, right? If you in the house, right, then stay in the house type shit, right? It's the equivalent of, let's say you're hot or you're cold, or let's use hot as this example, right? When you're hot and you go outside, you go in the shade, and you're like, oh my god, it's just so hot. And you go in the house for the AC, but you keep leaving the door open. And you keep going in and out and opening the doors, closing the doors. Now the AC can't do its job. Now the AC, now you're getting screwed and you're making things worse because what happens is the AC starts picking up on condensation from all the humidity coming in from outside. So now you have the ability of even breaking your AC unit. All the Airbnb renters are like, when you close the door and let's say your AC is working. It's not a situation where your AC is not working. We're saying that your AC is working, right? When that's the case, right, you have to keep the doors closed. You have to keep the windows shut. You have to, if you want it to work at max potential, right? And maybe you don't feel the AC right now, but when you don't believe, that's when you don't achieve it ever, really, right? Let's say I go to meditation and I go and I read this, but I am not really. I show up, right? I show up, I listen to it, it sounds cool, kind of like how we go to church, right? We show up to church, right, and we go, I show up because it's the right thing to do, and realistically, they talk about this hell place, and I don't want to go there. I really don't. I don't like how that sounds. That sounds like a not good place. So I show up. Do I really know what's going on? Am I really even thinking and trying to figure out what's going on by asking questions and, critically figuring out what's being said to me? Right? No, thank you very much. Uh, we just focus on kind of maybe the things that we believe is being said, right? And we keep it pushing. And you do this once a week, maybe once every time you feel a certain way, for a lot of people, right? And what we're saying is that this is different in the way that we want you to critically think. We want you to ask questions. We want you to reread the text. We want you to, not move forward until you 100% understand, right? And that's the difference between this and, let's say, religions, because it's like, no, we don't really want you to ask too many questions. We want you to we want you to memorize the material, but we don't want you to question it. Know this shit cover to cover, right? Front and back, bow, 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 bow. But don't question the Lord's work. Don't, yo, how do you survive in, like a whale or something for this day? Oh, they didn't say it was a whale, it was a really big fish, right? Yo, how did this happen? Why this doesn't, what about this? This doesn't align with what said previously. What the fuck is this text, right? Don't do that. That was taught myself, do that, right? Yet, where we also come from, because then this is where it goes, well, of course, you just said that you're not going to respond or even all the negative energy and all that stuff. Here's the benefit of being a Reiki master, right? Once someone texts something, open their mouth, look at me, be in my energetic field, even think a thought, they don't even have to be around me, I sense it, right? Through having understanding, again, the Reiki master, all of us feel it, right? We feel something, but a lot of times we don't know how to decipher energy. Myself has become a master of deciphering energy, right? So when someone's coming and they're asking a question and we go, hey, we understand that this question is more of an egotistical question that you're trying to attack versus understand. No, I'm not. All right, our point exactly, right? And a lot of the times, let's say, a conversation realistically is the test of if you read this or not, right? Just a basic conversation. And why would you say just a basic conversation would be like that? Because if you can be in your own frequency, right, then it shouldn't be difficult to have a conversation. If you're being taken out of your frequency, then it's going to be difficult to have a conversation, right? Now, how are we getting taken out of our frequency? Going back to what we started this with, by going to work, by dealing with a relationship we don't want to deal with, people we don't want to deal with, things we don't want to do, the problems of the world, all that shit, right? So, with that being said, we're going to just spend the time, let's say, reading. This will do like a little tarot, right? And then we'll just start reading. And that's it. I'm just gonna read. I'm just gonna read as far as we decide to go, right? And then later in the evening, we'll go back and we'll discuss it. So now that gives people a chance to join the show. You can watch it live, or you can listen to it later. And then when it's like late, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, right? Then at that point, Grand Risings, thank you for joining, right? Appreciate you. Um, Now we're in our, theoretically, our bed or our cozy place, right? And we're in a more relaxed state, more comfortable. Now we can discuss what it is that we heard, right? And process it right before we go to sleep. So then it kind of gets integrated into your system. Whether you wake up tomorrow and then you go back into the same cycle, that information is now in your brain, right? So eventually it'll come to the forefront when it's the time. It might not be the time now, but it doesn't mean that you aren't able to even receive the downloads. Or, it's like you downloaded the game from the internet, or you bought the game and you didn't download it yet, but you have it. You own the movie, you didn't watch it yet, but you got it downloaded. You got the DVD, Blu-ray, whatever it is, VHS, Laserdisc, whatever it is, however you watch your movies, right? So, let's just put water, and we shall begin. Maybe we'll pull a card too. Like the placenta. Card is Nine of Cups. Very frequent card. We're working towards building that love, like we said. It's on the forehead. And that's what we want the spirit energy to be, right? Imagine you're at work, right? You're trying to be work mode. And your partner, your lover comes and starts kissing all over you, starts rubbing on you, starts cuddling with you. And you're like, get off me, I'm at work. I can't be seen like this. I can't get in this mode. I can't get in love mode, right? Because it's gonna take me out of work mode, right? You see what I'm saying? And now you can get hurt, you can get in trouble, you can get confused, you can forget, your motivation of even why you're doing these things, and right, low for what Spirit's saying, that frequency is irrelevant now. It's obsolete. Why? Because everyone's at work, everyone's angry, everyone doesn't really want to be here, right? We're here for the money and blah 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 blah. So if you feel good or you bring in your partner and you're being lovey dovey, then other people are gonna be mad. Hey, what are you doing over there? Get back to work. I'm gonna go report you. Blah blah blah. And you're like, oh, I need the money. Like all these things, right? Yet if we're aligning ourselves with what Spirit wants us to, right? You can do that, right? Because that's what Spirit wants us to do. Spirit wants us to connect and love and feel cozy and appreciated. They're not going to yell at you. They're not going to make you feel bad, right? If I'm reading this book and someone wants to come with me because, oh, what? And whatever else we want to do, right? Am I going to be yelling at myself? Am I going to be frustrated? Am I going to do all these things? Even like the dogs. You see the dogs come up? All that stuff. Maybe I might be like, hey, Lily, I can't really have you in my lap right now because I'm trying to read. But if you want to be over here, or maybe we can figure out something like this, right? But it's not, a dog can't be here at the workplace, right? The dog needs to be on a leash outside. Not here. So, it's about aligning with what does serve you versus what you believe is going to serve you. When you understand that statement, a lot of other things will start making sense as well. So let's see. I believe I was on chapter 9. Oh, Russian. Cool. Shouts out to Russia. Ukraine too. Shouts out to Ukraine. And peace, people. Peace. That's what we're really shouting out. You know. All right. Here we go. One more sip of water. Right. We gotta again. This isn't about Russian. It's about. I'm not Russian, right? You see what I'm saying? I'm not Russian, right? Shouts out to Russia, but I'm not Russian. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Oh, let's do this one. Light sequence decoding. Evolutionary sense of a divine awakening. A journey of vibration and frequency. You are decoding the light codes that are within your crystalline cellular structure as you move from word to word, page to page, and segment to segment within this book. Decoding denotes that there is something that needs to be ascertained, that needs to go from unknown to known. This is the joyous unfolding of your soul's evolution in this incarnation. You are decoding the divine source light codes within your crystalline structure. As you do, what had been under the surface or hidden or unknown becomes seen. It becomes known. This may be tangibly realized or experienced for you in that something, some knowing that seemed to be beyond your reach, is now within your reach. And they're smoking, so. Maybe you've been asking what your purpose is, and now you know. You know that you always knew. It may be very tangible. It may also be very energetic. You may move into an energetic vortex of these decoded source light codes. This is a journey of vibration, a journey of frequency that you take all within your being. We began the sacred text with the recounting of the birth story of these sacred scribe tablets. They were born conceived alongside of your divine transmitter, Danielle, on her birthday. She carried them within her, unseen and unknown to her conscious awareness until the first tablet, which began this book, was decoded. It was transmitted. It was transcribed. She crossed the threshold from carrying something in the space of the unknown to then bringing it forth into that which is known. That process didn't happen in a vacuum. There was nothing outside of the ring of inclusion in her life that was outside of this project or this process. Every moment, every thought, every experience led to the crossing of those thresholds. We're using this example to illuminate that there's some version of that for you as well. It may or may not be a sacred text that you carry, or one that you're deciphering, writing, scribing, and bringing into visibility. Yet there's something. There's something. And everything in your life has been a part of the illumination of this something that you carry. It's time to bring it forth out into the world. Everything in your life has been a part of the illumination of this something that you carry. It's time to bring it forth out into the world. There's nothing outside or excluded from this process of you illuminating, decoding, and deciphering what's inside of you. As you have access to more of your source light, you're able to tap into the embedded consciousness that resides within this source light, this hidden treasure that you carry within you. As the waves of energy pulse through these pages, the words, the energy environment of the sacred text have a sensation of your system matching the key or the decoding information with what has been hidden and heavily encoded within you. The waves of energy are washing away the cobwebs from this once dormant consciousness, clearing the pathway to access it and reactivating the infrastructures to realize it. All of the entirety exists within all that there is exists within you. Your inner universe is also very specific to you. This means that even though all that there is exists within you, not all that exists within you is being tapped into at this moment. There's a special sequence of divinity codes that reside within your system that are going from unknown to known, crossing the threshold from undecipherable to deciphered. All of entirety exists within you. All that there is exists within you. There's a special sequence of codes, of divinity codes, that reside within your system that are going from unknown to known. Right? So just a quick little, what we were saying earlier, as we say, learning a new language. Is that, so like we said, we're giving you the codes, right? As we read, we're giving you the codes. And let's say the codes have to go through all your chakras, right? So let's say you go to the root chakra and you have to make it all the way up to your crown to understand, right? So let's say the root chakra is blocked, survival, right? What's going on? What's going on, Grand Risings? You're in survival mode right now. So now you're instantly rejecting it because the root chakra's right there. Boop, you're rejected, right? Let's say your root chakra's okay, right? But now your sacral isn't well, right? So now the pleasure that you feel, you're gonna feel ashamed about it. You're gonna feel scared. Oh, I feel good doing this, right? So now this is bad. Let me stop, right? Solar plexus. Oh, am I supposed to study? Because, you know, what if I study and I get really good, right? Let's use the example of graphics. Shouts out to Code Graphics. You know, hit them up. Let's say all your friends use Canva or something like that, right? All your friends use Canva, or let's say Squarespace if you're a graphic designer and you do code and all that stuff, or like a Wix or some shit, right? I use Squarespace because I am not a coder, right? But if I was, and I took pride in my coding and every line for line, right? They scoff at Squarespace, Wix. Why don't you pay me to do your website, right? I've been around them. So let's say this person, they're using, you know, this, maybe not even Canva, a different app. Let's say like a Mario Creator or some shit like that. Maybe not that, but just something along the lines of a low-level app when it comes to graphic designs, right? Now you start getting better in graphic design. You start wanting to do more. Let's say it's so tough, you can only have so many layers on the screen, or in your screen, or in your file, right? Let's say you can only do 5 layers. And then you want to go, oh, I want more layers. I want more effects. I want to be able to take out the background a little bit easier. I want to be able to go pixel for pixel on my cutouts of whatever it is I'm doing, right? I want to be able to change the eye color. I want to be able to change the sky. I want to be able to do all these different things. So then you start using Photoshop. You start using things like Illustrator. I'm an Adobe guy, as you can tell. But whatever program for you, right? But it's a higher level program. Then your friends can't relate with you as much, right? Because let's say they talk about the program and crashes all the time. Oh, it's crashes and I can only use 5 layers, and you're just like, why don't you get Photoshop? Because Photoshop's awesome because I can do this, I can do that, I can go over here, I can do this, this, and this. Or maybe it's even Canva. Why don't you get Canva? It's even better than whatever app you're using. CapCut has a photo feature, right? Really, I like Photoshop. You know, I'm a Photoshop guy. I'm an Adobe guy. Really, I use Premiere. I'm a Premiere guy. That's my program, right? So, but just it's anything in life, right? We don't have to get into the specifics, right? What we're saying is that it becomes harder to relate to people once you like the trauma bond, because before the program sucked and it's like it's so frustrating and you guys would laugh and like that would be what you guys talked about how shitty the program was, but then you stop even like it's like why are we even joking about this? Why don't we just get to another program? Well, that costs money and this that and the other. Yeah, but the money that you make from using the program would pay for the program itself. I used to get Adobe. I won't say how I used to get Adobe. Thank you, David. David said I love the stream so much. Shouts out to David 995. Right. Shouts out to you. And shouts out to Cole for even inspiring this, conversation right now. But once I started making money off Adobe, I pay for Adobe Sense. Because I'm like, dude, I make money off of this. Like, before my program, I'm using iMovie. I'm not even iMovie. I was Windows Live Movie Maker. I didn't even have an app. I have Windows Live Movie Maker, right? Crash all the time. Like putting layers on top. It's just if you use Windows Live Movie Maker, especially around like 2008, like 10, 12, like around that time, if you're my age and you grew up on the YouTube era of Comic Sans, you know music lyrics, we didn't have all the YouTube music and all that stuff. We had people doing the work of God, uploading Fall Out Boy. Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great. It tastes like you, even sweeter. Oh. I don't own the rights to the music. I'm just saying. People upload on YouTube, they put that Comic Sans lyrics on, but but no, this is before people really had the lyrics on the internet or something like that. People would just put anything on there. You like read it out, you like, what? That doesn't even make sense. But we was lit. Bring it back. Once I started using Adobe, I couldn't relate to the crashes of Windows Live, and I could do this and I could do that, and realistically, I could do so much more that I'm still learning. There's After Effects, there's all these different things. There's so much more to learn, right? And that's what happens when Grand Rising, thanks for joining. We're talking about elevating and not relating to trauma bonding, right? In short, right? So once I start elevating, I'm going further and further and further, and I'm not using the same program that others are using and crashing and all that stuff. My work starts getting better. This starts getting better. Now my ideas start getting better because they're not so much in this box, right? So this is the equivalent of that. When you're studying and you're leveling up, you're going to start like rising, not let's say above, but just away from you, right? And we're here to say that it's okay. And a lot of times we believe that, oh, I gotta bring everyone with me. And myself, I got caught into the same thing, right? Yeah, there was this time where my friends, when I was filming and Adobe and all that stuff, that was my filmmaking friends, and I got into meditation. I kind of went off on my own path. But when we realigned, they were on the same, they were tarot and spirit this, and they got really big into like the Norse stuff, and, shows out the Korean cute. But when we realigned, it was the right time. But I have to go do my thing. I didn't have to sit there and be like, guys, come on, do this meditation with me. No, you do the meditation. You go work out. You go, edit or create the way you want to create. And as you go along your journey, you're going to meet others along the way at the level that you are currently at, not the level you were at before. So let's get into the next, section. So for shade, hey, hey. I like that. I like saying that. That's fun. It's like when you're learning a foreign language. Let's set the title, but just in case. Learning a new language. This is the next section. It's like when you're learning a foreign language and you're exposed to that language. When you initially hear it, it doesn't make sense. You don't know what you're hearing. You can see people speaking, and as if they're speaking this language, you can sense that they're not different from you. They're using their lips, their voices, their tongues to string together letters, words, sentences, and paragraphs. They're expressing something. Sometimes you even know through a hand gesture of what they're holding, what they're speaking about. You have a word for orange. They have a word for orange. You have a word for sun. They have a word for sun. In the beginning, as you're exposed to it, as you're in the same vibrational proximity of the language, it sounds like gobbledygook. It's nonsensical. Then, slowly, you may pick out a word, theme, or body movement that keys you into the subject of what's being shared. You may still use your code at that point, your key, so that when you hear the word in another language, you translate it in your mind to your language. As you continue to immerse yourself in this foreign language, you get to a point where that was unknown becomes known. You know it. You know what the person is talking about. Maybe at first you know 20% of the words, 50%, or even 80% of the words. It's not unknown anymore, and you're decoding it word for word, because when you decode word for word, or you translate it to your original language word for word, and the person keeps talking, you're left way behind. You're still at the beginning of their sentence, and they've moved on to a totally different subject. Your comprehension becomes automatic. Today is our harvest festival from India. Are you know about Tamil language? No. Can you enlighten us a little bit? Please tell us about your harvest festival. What what are you harvesting, right? Um, we're celebrating the harvest, right? So what are we harvesting? Why do we harvest it? Um, what does it do? Whether it's food, whether you can harvest a lot of things. What do you do for the festivals? How do you celebrate? What do you like to eat? What do you like to wear? If there's any traditional clothing or food that you guys like to do, or themes. So yeah, I'll keep reading, and then we'll check in a little bit. As you continue, you also go through these developmental stages with the language where you're able to get your point across. Maybe it's not pretty, maybe it's not grammatically correct, but you're able to be understood. Then it goes deeper, and you're able to talk about what really matters to you. In this, you move beyond just functionality of, can I buy some bread, to expressing your innermost feelings, sharing yourself in a way that is deep and profound. Then you start dreaming in this other language. You embody it, you live it, and it becomes automatic. That is one way to wrap your mind and your being around what we're speaking of right now. It's like that which has been put there by you in silent repose, which has been residing or resting in a deactivated state, in a dormant state, has been talking to you. Maybe the last few years, months, days, or decades, you've been hearing something. As you've been hearing it, it hasn't quite landed. You're hearing something and your attention is drawn there, but it doesn't make sense. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is because you don't have a context for it. You don't have the vocabulary for it. Which is the oldest language in the world? That's debatable. You're hearing something, your attention is drawn there, but it doesn't make sense. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is because you don't have a context for it. You don't have the vocabulary for it. I'll finish and we'll answer that question. Soon, however, you will have gone through the developmental stages of your soul and you will be able to access more. For as you've been carrying it, and as you've been hearing it, and as it's been awakening, as you've been awakening, you begin to have certain codes within your system, certain signature symbols where you recognize that, this equals that. Or you just throw out the whole key of what you've known before and you create a new one. So, what is the oldest language in the world? In the world, so on Earth, right? This world on Earth, or like, what is worlds? Okay, yeah, so this world, we'll say Earth, because Earth is a world. There we go. Are we talking spoken by humans? Right? Because think about it, everything communicates with each other. So let's say trees. Trees communicate with each other in certain ways. Let's say trees communicate how old they are with the rings they have. So if you are, like this said, maybe we don't know what the rings mean, or maybe we don't know what a tree type is or whatever it is. Yet as we learn their language, go to Google. Let's see what Google says, right? Now, here's the thing about Google. A lot of times we have to realize that, like, Google or even AI is just taking the internet and summoning it up to you. That doesn't 100% mean that's fact. So, I'm not saying this is this certain situation, but like where everyone's like, AI or ChatGPT and this, all this other stuff. Oldest language in the world. There we go. Yo, I got a question, bro. What do you do? How do you get that many followers? Sumerian. So that's interesting. That's where we would say humans, right? But then we have, let's say, Lumeria, right? And then even before that, let's say Atlantis. All these things. But let's say documented for human beings. We'll give it that one, right? This is what I do. So my story, a little bit of my story, is I used to do, used to shoot music videos and do like, or just client work in general, video stuff. Let's say multimedia. Let's say that, and like staging, multimedia and staging, right? And then eventually, I worked so hard. I would just sit at my desk and like edit all day, or I was out working and being like really stressed out and shit. And I got a hemorrhoid, and yeah, I had to sit down, and I ended up reading this book about tarot, how to read tarot and astrology and stuff like that. And yeah, I found a certain peace in my life that I never knew existed, could exist even. And once I found that peace, I decided to dedicate my life to sharing it. So since then, this has been many, many moons ago, many years. We've just been doing that. So now I travel or just do stuff, right? Music, whatever, art, and then yeah. So this is when people. A lot of times when I share my videos, it's really funny, and people comment, "Get a job," and I go, "You're commenting on a video that has, I think the one specifically I'm referencing has 4.2 million views on it." Um, and however many comments, right? And people are, get a job, hippie. And what's funny about said video, I'm recording a video, right? As I'm recording a video on one camera, right? I'm minding my own business. I'm recording a video about the law of attraction. You can see it on my page, right? I made it a little short. And you can watch the whole video on YouTube. The whole section, because there's even a longer thing, right? I'm just recording a video about law of attraction, and like, I'm just talking about it, right? Um, and as I'm recording the video, just sitting there, someone sees our van and just comes up and was like, "Hey, you guys are traveling in the van. That's cool. Like, is there any way that I can help?" And we're just like, "Yeah, sure. You know, if you want to help in any way, like, we appreciate it." And they say, "Yo, here's $10, right?" And now we're grateful for every dollar, right? For everything anyone wants to contribute. So taking that and going, boom, as I'm talking about law of attraction, someone literally just gave me $10. And I'm not asking, I'm literally just focused on the camera. I didn't even know this person was walking up. They came into the van, "Hey, how's it going?" We're like, "Yo, what's up?" So it's funny. I post that video, and then people are like, "Oh, you're begging for money. Get a job, you bum." And it's like I'm literally doing my job, and someone rewarded me even further for doing my job, right? Of sharing this information to the world, right? So, with that being said, what do I do? This is what I do, right? I just, I found alignment, and I share the process of how I found it. If anyone wants to find it, I'm here for you, right? Because once you find that alignment, everything else works out. Maybe not in the ways I even want it to work out. I want it to work exactly like this, but it still works out. So, Sumerian, Akkadian, and Egyptian, they are still spoken. Um, See, this will be like an end of the day thing. So I'm gonna keep going because this is a great conversation that we should have. Like I said earlier, we're gonna have two live shows now. One where I'm just like reading, and then one where we're like, communicating and talking and discussing. Because these questions are what led to me being here. So very important questions. Yet that would be I gotta bring up the laptop, and I have to bring up certain stuff and a lot of things, like information. It's not just gonna be me talking. So, and we're actually getting close to out of time. So let's finish one more section. It seems like we can get one more section in. Or if the Instagram, we run out of time on Instagram, you can come join us on YouTube. Hi YouTube and Instagram. I literally, if you guys want to, it's so funny. Um, I have the iPad up because my laptop doesn't want to stream on YouTube, right? Um, and then I have the phone being propped up by the iPad. So when I look at Instagram, I'm also looking at YouTube. Versus like before, it felt like I was having two different conversations. I look over here, I look over there. Or I'm just looking over here, I'm looking over here. YouTube's just looking at me like that. So there we go. We're figuring it out, right? have gone through the developmental stages of your soul, and you will be able to access more. Alright, so the larger evolutionary sequence of divine awakening. A useful analogy is as if you're an explorer and you go into an environment that you've never been in before. In the beginning, you may try to relate it to what you already know. Let's say you've always lived in the woods, and then all of a sudden you're on the beach, and then you're in the ocean, and you try to relate to it. Well, that coral reminds me of a tree, or that fish reminds me of a squirrel. You can to try to create correlations, yet the same givens of principles of being in the ocean don't apply to being in the woods. You can't breathe underwater. You can't see with the same level of clarity when you open your eyes underwater as you can when you're in the woods. You have this very unique sequence, consciousness, and information within you that's been left to you, by you, and through you, which you're decoding right now. Right? You can't breathe underwater. You can't see with the same level of clarity when you open your eyes underwater as you can when you're in the woods. We're gonna say that for later because I got 2 minutes remaining. So, yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading on YouTube. You guys want to join us on YouTube? FreeWater Family, FreeWater Network. Um, yeah, this is a good flow. This is a good flow. So yeah, join us on YouTube if you want to keep going. If not, I hope you have a blessed day. Check us out later, right, where we'll be discussing what we've read today and moving forward on that. So thank you guys for joining us on Instagram. Thank you guys for being with us on YouTube. We just got to do our little commercial break, and we'll keep the flows going. So again, appreciate you guys. Love and light. Stay light. Stay woke. I like that we're getting in the flow. We got the YouTube still rocking with us. We were having a little was to say it's under there. Well, commercial break's almost over, guys. But, if we want to keep the vibes pristine and clean, you feel what I'm saying? You got another one? Let's give you an eye, huh? Hold on, I got you, dude. I'm trying to grab it, man. Got it. Hey, wait. Alright. Have to take care of the doggies. You have this very unique sequence. Or let's start with the one that we underlined. Again. You can't breathe underwater. You can't see with the same level of clarity when you open your eyes underwater as you can when you're in the woods. You have this very unique sequence, consciousness, and information within you that's been left for you, by you, and through you, which you're decoding right now. As you access it and decode it, not only does it imbue and touch your life, it's part of the larger evolutionary sequence of divine awakening. Let's say there was a grand mission to resurrect light, love, and divine consciousness on earth, and before you incarnate, you took a part of the sequence. You took a part of these light codes within you. You carried it. For example, if you're going on a trip, you have a week's supply of food, water, and clothing, and a week's supply of stuff for 20, 50, or 100 people. Perhaps it's a hiking trip or a road trip. You don't put all the supplies on your back or in your car, you divide them up. Then you meet at a certain time in a certain place and you empty your pockets and you say, oh, I have this part, oh, I have that part, I have this tent, I have the water, I have the stove. Each person brings with them what they're carrying. They put it on the table and in and of itself already has value and importance and offers positive support to the person who's carrying it. It's not random. When you carry, it's not random. It's particular to you. Just as in ancient tribes or in the realms of healers or medicine men and women, the one who tends the fire does so for a reason. The one that has the altar for water has the altar for water for a reason. It's the same with you. What you carry for the trip, this incarnation of life, is unique to you, is particular to you. As you pull your items out, you may say, "Ah, I've got water. I've got the matches, whatever it is. I've got the love. I got the divine sequence of harmonic resonance. I've got the galactic keys of the evolution and consciousness. I've got the bliss vibe. Whatever it is that you've got, as you pull it out and you partake of it, it already touches you, for it's already been within you. It's already been within you. As it touches you, it ripples out. If it stays in your backpack, if it stays in your car, you're not partaking in it. Thus, it's not available to be a part of the divine sequence, of this full remembering, of this divine mission of this time. That's why you feel an urgency to empty your pockets to get what you know is within you outside you in a way that you can express, tap into, and understand. You've been carrying this fire, water, or these divine sequences that aren't random. They're particular to you, and you have an innate knowing of them. There's a proximity of them already. They're not out of left field. You understand the nature of water. You understand the nature of fire. Or you're divinely designed in such a way that you've already been on this path of consciousness. Or you've been on a path that maybe seems different. You've been an engineer, you've been an architect, and all of a sudden you find yourself in the pages of the tablets of light. That's positioned you. What's come before has positioned you so that what you carry, the divinity codes that you carry, may be brought forward. As we mentioned, this may be very tangible to you. Now you clearly know something that was unknown to you. Maybe this is your mission or your purpose or your next step. It may be that in that stage of being a bit fuzzy, where you can only pick out a few handfuls of words, or maybe one word that lets you know the subject of the thing. You may be at various levels of the developmental stage of accessing what you carry within you. We know you've been hearing it. We know you've been feeling it. We know you've been longing to reunite with it. It's not random or an accident that you're within this decoder of the tablets of light. You're within this key of this source light. This book as a calibration sequence. So we're going to stop there. Page 106, 107. We're going to let the dogs out. We feel there's a lot of energy. They can feel there's a lot of energy building up. So we're just going to let it process. We're not going to keep stacking it. What's the rush, right? Like we said, we're not rushing, right? So thank you for joining. If you guys want to follow along, this is the Tablets of Light. We're on page 106, chapter 9. This book as a calibration sequence. So, shouts out to Tosh, shouts out to Daniel Rama Hoffman, right, for making this. And you can get this hopefully at your local spiritual store. If not, I got it off Amazon. Right, I know, taking over the world. What are you gonna do, right? We gotta figure it out. We gotta figure out how to start making our own stuff or something, right? That'll be a time and place for another day. So, thank you guys for joining again. I hope you have a blessed day. We will be back later for sure on Instagram. We'll see about YouTube. But we'll be discussing more about what we read, and then we'll read more the next day. So, again, thank you guys for joining. Till next time, love and light, stay woke.